As far as the fire, I wouldn't say it was my favorite, but it was the most memorable. And it was in Northern California, the American River Fire on the Tahoe National Forest. It was probably the hardest fire to date that I've ever been on. It was only my second year on the crew, and I was a Sawyer at the time as well. But yeah, I mean, the year before that, we had gone to Montana and whatnot, and seeing that terrain in the northern part of the states, it's definitely steeper, bigger, and whatnot. But when we went to Northern California for that year on the Tahoe, everything's multiplied by 20. The mountains there are bigger. Terrain is just crazy steep everywhere. Poison oak, I mean, you name it, it's there. And we had on a ridge that we were on, there was the Tahoe Hotshots. It was their backyard. Us, Payson, and I believe there's another crew there. And we had, it had to have been at least a couple miles worth of hand line we had to put down this ridge. It was an indirect piece that we were putting in. Talking about 30-foot swath with a 2-foot dig, and I mean, it's thick there, real thick. So we were leapfrogging crews the whole time. It took, I think, 3 to 4 days to put the line in with that many crews, and we were tying into the American River at the bottom. And all I can remember during that whole time is at first, I mean, the fuel model changes from the top going down. So when we started at the top, there was a lot of brush, a lot of that manzanita and whatnot. And then finally, when we dropped down, you got into the timber with the brush still and lots of poison oak. And I just remember getting further and further away from the top. And by the time that we got to a stopping point, we had to hike out to go bed down. And that was probably the worst hike ever in the world. You're talking about going up something that it literally was, it was a crawling pace because it was that steep. All I remember is there's people puking on the way up, and it was bad. I mean, and it's just hot. I mean, Northern California it's got a lot of big mountains there, but it was still 105 degrees there. So hiking out when the sun went down, it was still 100 degrees out. It was still really hot. I mean, a lot of things happened in that first day for us, and it was a rude awakening for sure, because you go on these other fires either here in your region, and you go to other states, and yeah, it can be tough, but there's nothing like the Northern California or just California in general. I mean, fire there is definitely, it's a different way of fighting fire there for sure, but just getting used to all of the elements of California is the hardest part, definitely.